We're going to dive into this story about Sean Diddy Combs. About a month or two ago, I covered that his ex-girlfriend, who's also a musician, Cassie, she actually had filed a lawsuit against him for abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. And after she did that, they settled actually that same week. It was very quick. But then there were others that have come forward, not just women, including a male actually came forward. There had been rumors about Diddy for a long time in reference to abuse. I lived in New York over 11 years ago. I heard these stories back then. But back then it was just kind of like a rumor because we didn't have any proof. And I didn't know Diddy. You can't put me at the scene. Okay. So I didn't know him. But what has happened now is that apparently since that report from Cassie, the feds, mainly Homeland Security, actually have decided to look further into Diddy. And I also wonder how this is going to affect other people that are close to him, like TD Jakes. There have been rumors about him as well. But the feds did raid his home in Miami and in LA. Let's go ahead and get started with that raid there. What a mess.
Breaking news. The Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs. Let's bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell and CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson. Josh, let me start with you. What do these raids by federal agents in multiple locations tell you about the seriousness of this investigation?
Yeah, Wolf, a very significant development here, seeing this law enforcement action taking place. I'll point out, just to be clear at the outset, we don't know that Sean Diddy Combs himself is the subject or target of a federal investigation. So it's just worth pointing that out at this hour. But what we do know is that two properties associated with him, we saw the feds descend on those properties. We saw on aerial footage, federal agents both here in the Los Angeles area as well as in Miami at those residences. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, their what's called HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, gave CNN a statement. I'll read you part of that when asked about what this activity is. They say that earlier today, HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. That is it, confirming that they are conducting what they're deeming law enforcement action, which could indicate search warrants being conducted there, could indicate arrests being conducted. We just don't know at this hour specifically what that law enforcement action is. It is worth pointing out, though, that Combs himself obviously has faced significant legal woes in recent months. I'll give you just a kind of the highlights of what actually occurred. In November, he was sued for rape and abuse by a former partner. That lawsuit was then settled very quickly. But in December, he faced sexual assault allegations in a complaint filed in the Southern District of New York. The suit was brought by a woman referred to as Jane Doe, who said that she was 17 at the time when these allegations took place back in 2003. He was accused of sex trafficking and gang rape, among other allegations, also in that suit naming two of his associates. Of course, Combs denied any wrongdoing there. And then just last month, a former employee of Combs filed a suit also in the state of New York, accusing him of sexual assault, of sexual harassment, and, quote, grooming. That former employee stated that he had worked for Combs between 2022 and 2023. Among those allegations, this former employee, a male employee, said that Combs did not compensate him for his music production work and forced him to procure and interact with sex workers, threatened him with serving alcoholic beverages laced with drugs to guests at parties at Combs' home. And then Combs' son, Justin Combs, was also accused of soliciting prostitutes and underage girls at his father's homes. Again,
let me pause for a second. So there were a number of people that I saw on social media. They were asking, why did they handcuff two of his sons? And there you go. The two sons that were handcuffed, it was alleged that they also participated in these acts. Again, I say alleged because I do not have proof and I ain't trying to, they ain't trying to come for me. Okay. I'm not trying to have nobody sue me. But that's why I'm saying alleged, but they were also handcuffed. Diddy was not there when they raided those homes. In fact, I'll get to that story in a second about his jet. But one of the things that they did actually take from his homes were, of course, his electronics, computers, video systems. So, one of the things that Cassie said is that he videotaped some of these events. So you would think that he wouldn't have continued to keep that video footage. But people can be dumb. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Epstein, had a past with this as well. I would not be surprised. I don't know if Diddy is going to be arrested. Right now, he is not arrested. We don't know. But I would not be surprised if there was some type of connection between Diddy and Epstein. These people run in the same circles, right? And I bet you a lot of people who are close to Diddy that say maybe they were not involved at all, they're probably sitting at home right now trying to lawyer up. Because it is what it is. People are going to look to the left for you. They're going to look to people to the right of you. I wonder if Jay-Z is nervous right now.
Combs have denied any wrongdoing, but just a series of allegations that we've seen taking place. Final point, Wolf, I'll note is that while we don't know the specific allegations or why the feds are at these residences, it is worth pointing out the agency that is conducting this law enforcement activity. It's not the FBI, it's not the DEA or the ATF. This is HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. For those unfamiliar, this is an agency that has long been the forefront specifically at human trafficking investigations. So although we don't have the specifics yet, we're starting to we can glean just based on which agency has the lead, the direction this might go. But again, we don't yet know that Combs himself was the target of the investigation, Wolf. We do know that at this hour that federal agents were at two of his homes, both here in Los Angeles and in Florida, Wolf. Yeah, important points. And Joey Jackson, now let me repeat, we don't know if Sean Diddy Combs himself is under investigation, but clearly, Joey, it's not good if your homes are actually being raided.
Right. Like, let's be clear here, folks. We don't know if they are investigating him, but if someone comes and raids your house, they believe there is something in that home that they need or they're looking for. Let's just keep it real.
No, it's not, Wolf. And I think, whatever conclusions can be drawn remain to be seen, right? There's not an indictment that we're talking about. That means that we're not speaking of a grand jury having rendered a conclusion, not as to guilt. That's not what grand jurors do, but as to reason to believe that a crime was committed and he committed them. Having said that, whenever you have a raid and an investigation, these things need to be really predicated upon, right? The precursor for this to happen would be some probable cause. What is that probable cause? We don't know. But let's go back to what Josh Campbell talked about, which are those various lawsuits. Now, lawsuits are civil actions in nature. They're not criminal at all. But what they do is they give authorities some guidelines and guideposts with respect to alleged conduct that was engaged in, with regard to who it was engaged in, what activities there were, what it involved. And so that, if there's an investigation, could serve as a source of plentiful information. That information could be further investigated, right, by certainly this Homeland Security Agency. And as a result of that, they can work with their local law enforcement partners. What does that mean? It means that they, collectively, law enforcement, try to determine whether there's reason to believe that crimes were committed and, were those crimes carried out and associated in any way we don't know, with Sean Combs. And so that remains to be seen. But before authorities, Wolf, can get into the home or property of anyone, you have to establish some firm basis to do that. And that is what at least we can conclude, that they had reason to believe that there were crimes involving sex trafficking, apparently, and that these areas potentially can give more information with respect to the specifics. And I think they would be looking for computer devices and other devices which would seem to indicate or give information as to whether there was any criminality very early in the process. But certainly we know that these have been carried out, and we'll see what, if any, information is gleaned to be suggestive of any criminality.
Right. And I do just want to update again. They did actually gather electronic devices from his house, including video as well. I did see someone, Casey is asking in the chat, where's this house? Miami and LA. So they raided homes that Diddy has in Miami and Los Angeles. And they actually, I told you, they actually detained two of his sons. It was Justin and King Combs. You can see the picture here. It looks like Justin and King Combs, and I'll verify that with the article after this. There they are here. Justin and King, they're handcuffed. So they were present and they did handcuff them. Again, Diddy was not present. So people were asking, why did they handcuff his sons, but they didn't handcuff him? Again, he was not present at that point in time. And here's the article that actually confirms that they were detained. They have been released, but at the time they were detained. Diddy's two sons reportedly detained as Homeland Security raids rapper's LA home. And just to confirm that here, you'll see that it says, here it is. Law enforcement sources told ABC News that Diddy's two sons were reportedly detained at the scene of the raid in the Beverly Hills home. That's according to Monday's broadcast of ABC World News Tonight. It goes on to say the initial report did not identify which of Diddy's sons were at the residence. However, TMZ has since reported it was Justin and King Combs. By the way, if you ever need somebody to really be on it, it's TMZ. TMZ will be at the scene before NBC, ABC, Fox News. TMZ will be on the scene. Now, many of you probably saw this as well. So apparently, again, he was not there. And then it was also announced by TMZ that Diddy's jet was found in the Caribbean. So this actually made people say, oh my God, Diddy's on the run. It felt like a O.J. Simpson moment. Like, remember when the police were chasing O.J. and he was driving in the white Bronco van? So again, TMZ was on it, this as well. I can't play the video because they do have copyright, but it says Diddy private jet tracked in the Caribbean. And it says here, Caribbean island amid raids in the US. So it wasn't confirmed that he was on it, but he wasn't at his homes that were raided. So people were like, Diddy is on the run, like on the cops. Now they did have actually a recent update and they did spot Diddy. Look, let me just tell you something, okay? Instead of contacting the police to find someone for you, you're better off contacting TMZ. TMZ will find whoever you are looking for. If you're looking for somebody, TMZ will find them. So a recent update from TMZ said Diddy seen on video pacing around Miami airport after raids at both homes. So yeah, and I can't play the video, but I did see the video. I was trying to see if he was crying or something. It was kind of hard to tell, but they did find him pacing at the Miami airport. So again, like I told you, TMZ will find you, son. They will find you. So again, there have been, I told you there were rumors about Diddy for years. Again, like I said, I never saw any evidence. So I couldn't say, yes, this actually happened, but more people have come forward about this. There are also people that have been speaking out against TD Jakes, who also has a relationship with Diddy as well. For people who don't know, TD Jakes is a preacher of a mega church in Texas. He's written multiple books. He's one of the wealthy preachers or whatever, but there are people that have come forward about him recently as well. It's just, it's crazy. But I wouldn't put it past anyone. I told you guys before, it doesn't matter if someone's a preacher, it doesn't matter, what their profession is. People do some things. And now what was really interesting is one of Diddy's neighbors made this statement here. Let me put myself up here. To the press. Now, at first I thought he was joking and he was trying to be funny until he said he doing too much. That's when I was like, oh, okay, no, I don't think he's joking. I don't think he's joking. This is Sean Diddy Combs' neighbor claims Diddy brings minors to his house. So listen to this. His neighbor is in this car right here, and you can see the press is lined up here.
Yeah, tell him stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. He be like buses, like big ass buses. You can see all type of shit hop out. especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets wild. I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be because I don't want to knock on the door. Yeah, tell him stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much.
That part right there, because someone already said it in the chat. Yeah, Lorian said, when a black man says you're doing too much, you're doing too much. Right. So at first, when I started watching this, I said, oh, it's probably someone joking around. Then when he said that, I was like, nah, I don't think he's joking around. Now, remember, Usher has admitted this himself, that when he was younger and he was first starting out as a singer, he actually lived with Diddy. That's when he was a teenager. I don't even think he was 16 at that point yet, but his mom let him go live with Diddy. And he said, like, yes, Diddy liked to party. Didn't go into like details in reference to the sex stuff, right? But then there was also Justin Bieber. And I think everyone remembers that. But Justin Bieber at one point also was living with Diddy. That also was before Justin Bieber was 16 years old. And there have been also rumors and allegations that Diddy was actually, you know, grooming some of these men. Again, I have no proof. I don't know. But the raid from the Homeland Security, that was in reference to sex trafficking. And I don't know what to tell you guys other than this. If Diddy is arrested, and we don't know that he will be, but if he is arrested, he is not going to go down alone. Oh, that didn't come out right. Get your minds out the gutter, guys. Get your minds out the gutter. I'm just saying, like, don't think he's not going to take someone else down with him. That don't come out right either. You guys know what I'm talking about. I just can't see him going to prison by himself. Because again, if you're running some type of a sex trafficking ring, you're not doing this alone. As we saw with Jeffrey Epstein, he wasn't doing that alone, right? So it's very telling, and it's very sad that there are also allegations against his sons. You know, I sincerely hope that they were not mixed up in anything like this. That would be it's really sad. But it is very clear there have been a number of allegations. And one thing that really stood out to me was Cassie's statement. It was so detailed that I'm like, you either have to be a hell of a writer and have a hella imagination, or this happened. And Cassie also pointed to Kid Cudi. Cassie said that Kid Cudi can verify this. So she had a witness. How many more people would come forward? People were making jokes about R. Kelly. People were saying that, you know, R. Kelly may have a friend in prison. They were pointing towards Diddy. So I want to show you this. This is really interesting. People had jokes all day. People had jokes all day. J Dab said R. Kelly when Diddy walks into prison. So this is actually Tom Brady, but he pointed to this and he said, oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Oh, no. He's like, sup? I didn't know you were in here, too. I didn't know you were in here. But I want to end this story with this, because I just want to remind you guys something that Katt Williams said during the Shannon Sharpe interview. He actually tried to warn people what was coming for 2024. Here's just a reminder.
It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them.
Did you hear this? Notice he named names. He specifically named Diddy and TD Jakes. I'm sure there may be others, but he specifically named them.
Or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Katt Williams said, all lies will be exposed. Did Katt know something that we didn't? Was Katt Williams trying to warn us? I don't know. I do not know, but it doesn't look good for Diddy thus far. And I told you guys, I've always been skeptical about Diddy. This goes back to the Biggie days, okay? This ain't new for me. I'm not one of these new Biggie or new Diddy, skeptics. I have been skeptical about Diddy since B.I.G. was killed because I started asking some damn questions. I was like, how is it that Diddy just seems to be present at the scene when people just get killed, but nothing happens to him? Not a scratch, no injury, nothing. And it's not just Biggie. It's not just Tupac. It was also Shine. Remember the shooting that happened in the New York club and Shine went to jail for it? That was back when Diddy was still dating J-Lo. I was like, oh, once again, someone else gets shot and Diddy just happens to be there, but he had nothing to do with it. And nothing happened to him. I have always been skeptical since then. And it doesn't matter how many great beats he brought us. It really doesn't. You know why? Because when you do wrong, you do wrong. And you should be held accountable. And also, those were someone else's beats. Diddy did a lot of sampling. You think of all the songs. He sampled everybody. Everybody. My dad broke my heart when I was in high school. And every time a new song, my dad was like, that sampled from this song, some song from the 70s, some song from the early 80s. Every damn song was sampled.